Miranda, whenever you're ready. Okay. So I'm so glad that you guys could all join us today. This is brought to you by your Ascension EAP, a part of your your food assistance program. Today we're going to be talking about holiday stress and how we can survive it. Again, this will be posted on YouTube for those of you that can't join us. For you that don't know, EAP is part of your benefits as employment. If you have any questions about that, we can always answer that too at the end. Overall, it's a short-term counseling service that you can utilize through your employer. Um, so at the end, we can touch on that if you have any questions. So, shopping and baking and planning, wrapping presents, parties. Oh my goodness, there is a lot of things to be going on this season, and it can be extra stressful having all this added extra stuff. So, whether you get wrapped up in the magic of the holidays or you're too wrapped up in your to-do list, it is possible to enjoy this time of year without all that added stress. So, today we are going to explore a couple of ways how. So today we are going to cover how we're going to explore some of those early signs of holiday stress, as well as review some of the tips to manage stress and hopefully create a personalized plan to manage holiday stress. We have a outline on our website, a worksheet if you want to go through that while we're talking about this today. Otherwise, it is linked later if you want to do it on your own time. So, what does this holiday season look like for you? Is it full of family fun? Is it just hustle and bustle with little time to enjoy or relax all of these holiday things? Or maybe it's just quiet and cozy and relaxing. Or maybe it's just a mix of all of these things. For most people, this time of year brings extra stress that can be difficult to kind of manage. So why this holiday stress happens? Maybe it's that high expectation of creating those magical moments for people, or overcommitment and time pressures to attend all the parties and have all the things ready and have it go exactly perfectly as planned. Maybe it's those family dynamics and unresolved tension and trying to avoid them most of the other times of the year, but the holidays bring you together. Maybe it's traveling, especially in Wisconsin with all of our extra snowy goodness, or those disrupted routines, whether that's for your family or for kids, and longer nights out or extra weekend activities. Or maybe it's that seasonal affective disorder. Days are getting shorter, the darkness lasts for longer, and it can leave us in like a low mood and lacking motivation. Or maybe it's other things like financial stress, budgeting, too many decisions to make, or that grief of a lost person that you loved that is now not here this holiday season. But with so many different sources of stress during the holidays, it's important to know what's unique stress signals to you. Not everybody is the same in how that stress shows up. So it could be some physical things like muscle tension, headaches, excessive fatigue, stomach aches, just anxiety in general. It might be that those emotional things like sadness, irritability, onset of that anxiety, or excessive and growing anxiety, or it can be like behavioral things such as withdrawing, not maybe wanting to participate in all of these events. It might be overeating or over drinking at all of these holiday parties and or to cope with all the added stress. But it's helpful to be aware of these signs of stress and notice them as early as possible so that we can do things to prevent that or work around it. Recognizing stress early can help manage it more effectively and rediscover the joy when you can manage these holiday stressors. So here's a really extensive list of all of those physical, emotional, and behavioral signs. We're not going to go through all of them today, but you might notice some of these things in yourself. Maybe there's more sleep issues. Maybe you're staying up late to try to get all of the things together, or you're waking up in the middle of the night worried about things going to happen. Might put you into a weakened immune system, and then you end up getting all these colds or illnesses right before all these fun activities are going to happen. Maybe you just feel really overwhelmed or anxious about all the things that you have to get done and check off the list or show up at this place on time. Maybe it's just feeling disconnected because you're so worried about the tasks and everything going on that it's hard for you to be present with the people around you when you do get to be with them. Um, that increases that alcohol use or the drug use to try to cope with those things. Maybe you just overall are tired, which declines your performance at work or your role at home. It might be difficult to make decisions, or you might just have some compulsive behaviors to try to deal with all of this holiday stress. So let's look at some of those techniques to manage the holiday stress. Um, there's kind of a simple framework that we can look at. Like we can put together a whole exhaustive list of maybe all of the things that are happening this holiday season, but maybe to break it down into writing things that like, what are the must-do things? What are part of our tradition? What are, the kids' activities that have to be done through school or work parties, things like that. And then maybe there's that second category of things that you might really want to do, and if your time permits, then you can go ahead and do that. Or maybe there's that third list of what can we skip? What can we get away from this year so that we don't overbook ourselves, so that we're not running around. Um, in addition, you can also align your expectations, whether that's with yourself or with your family. You might need to communicate some boundaries with family or friends to make sure that this holiday season is feeling more manageable and enjoyable. So make sure to express those boundaries early. Don't wait until they show up and then you feel cornered and backed into things. Let them know if you're not going to be able to do as much or if you really want to stick to your boundaries. And also clarify your values, those personal values and those non-negotiables. Um, that could be getting consistent sleep. You're not going to stay out or get up too early to do these different events. Or maybe it's limiting those sweets because you're really focusing on your health this year, or limiting alcohol, or not even being around that if that's not for you. Um, or maybe it's exercise. You still want to keep on your exercise routine and not break that due to other things going on. And that's okay. If you need help clarifying any of your values, there are tons of values lists online. You can always look into those, but this is just a list that we use often. You can kind of review these, and there's that step by step here on the screen. You can go through all of these different values and see what kind of aligns with you. And maybe you could circle the ones that you do like and maybe cross off the ones that aren't really big for you. And you're going to continue kind of weaning those down until you kind of identify maybe 3 to 5 top values. Um, and then you can kind of use that to align all these ideas and holiday get-togethers of what is most valuable for your time and your energy. I don't know about any of you, but if you've thought about intentionally thought about these values and how they align with activities that you want to do and how you use your time. And is it easy or is it hard to kind of wean these down? So kind of going into the practical stress management tips, be smart about time management. Plan early, don't leave things to the last second. Delegate tasks to other people. Do you have to do everything? Is there things that you can ask a family member to do or somebody else in your household to take care of? It's not all on you to make everything perfect or get everything done, but also keep that schedule realistic. Don't overbook yourself. Somet- Sometimes I do that, and it really makes things wild when I'm trying to make connections with 8 different people in one day. That's just not realistic. Also consider that financial health. Create a spending plan, stick to a budget. If something, you really want to get a gift for somebody and it crosses that budget, Maybe it's looking at a cheaper alternative, or can you get away from it and not have to do costly gifts at all? Handmade gifts are always a great alternative. Sometimes that's more meaningful to just have like a photo of a loved one or writing them a thank you note in some way or highlighting a memory that really stuck with you throughout the year. Don't forget about self-care. We need our sleep and we need to stay hydrated and make sure that we have nutritious food. So maybe that's having a nutritious meal or whatever before you go to one of these parties so that you don't end up overeating somewhere or having too many sweets. It could be getting some movement in, even if that's just for a little bit. Maybe it's just 10 minutes a day. You go for a little walk or you do some stretching before bedtime. Got to get your body moving so that you can movement helps decrease that stress. And also schedule in some downtime for yourself. Maybe that's just sitting and enjoying a holiday movie with the family or spending some time alone and doing some of this next step of mindfulness and grounding. So that could be just doing some simple breathing techniques, spending like 3 minutes on your drive to work, just really focusing on that breath. Could be gratitude journaling, writing down what you were most thankful for that day, or maybe something that was really beautiful or made you smile that day. Or it could be something like a short meditation or um, something guided. There's lots of things on YouTube or Spotify, any streaming service. There's always different meditations that you could follow when you're on your work break or before winding down before bed. And also limit those that digital doom scrolling. We do not need to consume all of that media. We're just wasting time. It's unproductive, and there's often time where we compare ourselves to other people and what they're doing for the holidays and how that isn't maybe what your family does, and then we end up feeling bad, or do we have to share that all on social media? So maybe put some time constraints on apps so that we're not spending so much time doom scrolling, creating more stress for ourselves. If we're looking at this list and maybe just a point to reflect on, like, is there one strategy in this list that might be helpful for you to incorporate this holiday season? Another aspect of this holiday season is navigating those relationships. This can sometimes be one of the more stressful aspects, preparing for those family dynamics and setting realistic expectations. If you know that your family shows up in a certain way and you wish it was more like these Hallmark movies where everybody just loves each other and we all get along and have a silly little frosting fight, that's not the reality of most people. So show up for your family the way that don't put high expectations that things are just going to magically be better this year. Sometimes having that expectation of not expecting much will create less stress going into those situations. Or maybe it's showing up at those parties and you don't have to connect with everybody. Maybe it's just a cousin here or this family there, or just having short conversations with a few people. It's not going into it knowing that you have to connect with everybody. Also, avoid those hot button topics. If you know that your family gets into disputes, try to avoid those politics, the religion, the family history. Try to avoid those topics at all costs. If you are not the one initiating it, maybe try to change the subject if somebody else brings it up, or you can conveniently need a bathroom break and remove yourself from that, or just don't engage in that. You do not have to get into those conversations. Or if you know that if people start drinking and things get a little heated, maybe you just leave the party before those things happen. But lastly, also practice that empathy. Everybody is feeling stressed during the holidays, and if you yourself feel that, know that other people are probably in the same boat. We're all stressed and we're all doing our best, and so it's important to remember and share some compassion with those. Um, and identify and communicate those barriers. We touched on that a little bit earlier. Consider what you want or you need out of these family gatherings and the boundaries that you can put in place to achieve that. Maybe it's knowing that you need to get home for nap time or don't come until after nap time if you have young kids. Or maybe that's not something that you want to spend your time and energy doing, and that's okay to decline those invitations. You can say anything like, I appreciate the invitation, but I just need a quiet evening for myself. And that is totally appropriate. You are more than welcome to do that. It's okay to set boundaries around your time and who you engage with at family events and how much money you even spend at these events. You are not required to spend $50 if that is your gift limit in your family or how you choose to do things, or getting gifts for everybody. If that's not feasible for you, that's okay. You can show up in other ways, and that is just fine. And lastly, coping with that loneliness. Holidays can be an incredibly lonely time of year, even if you do have friends and family around. But it's especially lonely for those that don't. So if you're lonely, it's important to create those plans. Maybe it's connecting with some people from your past that you want to rekindle those relationships. Or maybe you volunteer for an event, or give to a family that's in need, doing one of those Christmas tree tags and helping out a family and finding joy from that. Or going to low pressure social events where you don't feel the need to like show up and be everything that your family might expect. It's okay that grief makes it incredibly difficult to feel festive and happy, and that's okay. Losing a loved one can be a profound experience at any time of the year, but holidays can renew that feeling of sadness and hopelessness, and sometimes emptiness or anger or sadness, as we're faced with navigating what used to be a happy time associated with all these people. That emotional pain may surface as physical symptoms like insomnia, lack of appetite, stomach aches, headaches, things like that. Or maybe it's that feeling of guilt. So, somebody that's grieving might feel a lot of guilt for attempting to have some normalcy during the holiday season and overcoming those memories and trying to move on. And these are all normal parts of grieving. And it's okay if that's how you feel and that's how you spend your holidays. But if you're struggling, it's okay to reach out to people and let them know that. So, how do we cope with that grief? It's okay to lean into your emotions and just be with them. Avoiding those hard feelings can sometimes only intensify them. And it's helpful to give yourself some time to acknowledge those different emotions. That could be like isolation or hurt, again, the loneliness, anger, or a whole bunch of different ones. Allow that grief to coexist with your desire and to enjoy the holidays. But also reflect on your needs. What do you want this holiday season to look like? What do you need from this holiday season? Is it healing? Is it time to decompress and spend some time to be alone? Do you need to be around other people? What do you need that will bring that sense of normalcy to this holiday season? Or maybe it's just that these family events trigger that, and that's okay if you need to excuse yourself from some of these things that are going on. Neither is right or wrong. You just need to do what is most important to you and what is going to be best for you. And this also, you need to consider others, but also plan to be flexible. Recognize that others around you may also be grieving and have different needs this holiday season. Their needs may conflict with yours, and that's okay. It's important that everyone talks about what they need out of this holiday season and see where you guys can align and compromise. And maybe that's meeting somewhere in the middle. And maybe we just need to give some people some grace and do what feels right for them this holiday season. Many families are rooted in celebrating the same way year after year and know it's okay to change those traditions and maybe create some new ones. Check your expectations. This time of year brings thoughts of magic and family tradition and good food and spiritual connection, making memories, but often these things bring high expectation for ourselves, and like the holidays won't be the same as the other ones. And maybe your expectations just shouldn't remain the same. How can you adjust those expectations to better match where you are right now with what you need? physically, mentally, and emotionally. And finally, know your limits. Holidays bring a lot of extra tasks like shopping and gift wrapping and cooking and cleaning and traveling. And the stress of this season can be draining, even when we're not grieving. So consider your limits. What is too much? And how will you know when you've hit your limit? How can you cut back or simplify those tasks? Again, can you delegate? Can you share people with people how you're feeling and how this is affecting you? And know going forward that that's okay, that things might just look a little bit different. So, what changes can you make to find joy in the holidays again? So, that might be focusing on those experiences, not perfection. It's okay if we striving for perfection just causes extra stress, and we have enough stress already day to day. Instead, what if we are just present with the people around us and engage in those events and moments that make the holiday feel extra special? Maybe that's those conversations around the dinner table or the way the children react, like in this picture when they open their gifts. Maybe that's more worth it than trying to create the perfect picture moment. Incorporate those gratitude rituals and random acts of kindness. This can be a great alternative to gift giving, especially for people that already have everything that they could need. Maybe it's a smaller, meaningful gift, like a handwritten note or showing a little knickknack that reminds you of them. It doesn't need to be these big grand gestures and spending all kinds of money. Sometimes those small things are bigger than what you could find in a store. Celebrate in ways that reflect your current spots in life or your current needs. Are your kids already grown and you're an empty nester, or are they coming back for the holidays and they're spending time elsewhere? How can you pivot and change, and what's that going to look like? Or maybe you have young kids and adjusting traditions to keep them on schedule so their bedtimes aren't going haywire, and you make sure that they get fed so they're not getting cranky and hangry. It's okay to make those adjustments and adaptations to help things flow more smoothly and reduce that stress. And lastly, create new traditions if the old ones cause stress. Maybe your family's always done it, but it doesn't mean you always have to continue to do it if it no longer serves you. Maybe it's just not for you. Or maybe when you grow a new family, you start your own traditions, and that's okay too. You can create something new and special that works for everyone in your family now that maybe used to work for them, but not anymore. What changes might you guys make to find joy in the holidays again? Do you think that it could be those lack of gift giving, getting new traditions that better serve your family? So we can consider making a personalized plan to help manage the stress for the holiday season. So again, this is that worksheet that I mentioned earlier that's on our web page and attached to this YouTube. It will be like you can map it out yourself, but it's kind of doing recognizing those stress triggers that we talked about so that we can take care of those earlier when we start noticing them, that muscle tension, those headaches. Clarify those priorities. That's looking at those values again of what do you really want to spend your time doing and where do you want to spend your energy and time? And applying some coping strategies so that you can manage the stress and deal with it before it consumes you, as well as protecting your relationships, and creating those boundaries with your family and what those look like and how you might bring those up earlier than rather than later, and reconnecting with the holiday season and what that meaning is to you. It's important to note that these change over time, especially as family dynamics change and you add new ones to the family, or your children grow up and it's no longer that, or people move away. It's okay that things continue to look different. So, how can we build resilience beyond the holidays? As you navigate through the holiday seasons and you start into the new year, take some time to reflect on the experience of managing stress during busy times so you can build resilience and help manage that holiday stress when it comes back around. So take some time to consider what worked and what didn't, or what might feel helpful or not, and find a way to carry that forward. So you maybe remember, and you can write those down, and maybe you write it in your calendar for the next holiday season so that you can remember, oh, when I start to feel stressed or anxious, this is what helped me last year, and then you can build on that. Treat this process as like an annual learning journey. It's not just a one-time fix. Next year, you can build upon that and get a jump start on the holiday season to hopefully manage and keep that stress lowered. So, in closing, we've talked about a variety of ways to manage holiday-related stress, and we reviewed some of those early signs and discussed the importance of identifying yours. We shared some different stress managing strategies and tips, along with cope to grief with during the holiday. And we've discussed creating your own personalized holiday stress plan. Does anyone have any questions or you hope to try or use to manage stress during this holiday season? And if anyone is ever having, trouble managing this and you just need a little bit more of guidance and direction, this is what Ascension EAP is for. You can give us a call, you can set up an appointment with any of the counselors, and we are more than happy to help you with holiday stress or anxiety or anything else that might be happening for you. I'm looking here at the chat with some people. Oh, people are writing some really nice things in the chat. Giving your permission to say no is a very empowering thing. Yes, if you have to miss a party, it is not the worst thing ever. And being gentle with your grief, yes, it's important to give ourselves grace just as much as others. Well, if anyone else has any questions, please let us know or reach out to Ascension EAP. If you want to share this with other people, this again will be on YouTube for other work people. Um, and thank you for all joining us today. It was a pleasure to be with you guys and share this information with you.
Thank you so much, Sierra.
Thank you.